Imagine sipping coffee in London, flying a plane in New York, or smelting aluminum in Iceland, and all roads lead back to Jamaica. When most people hear the name Jamaica, their minds instantly jump to reggae beats drifting under the Caribbean sun, Bob Marley's timeless voice, the electrifying energy of dancehall, and those postcard-perfect beaches where turquoise waters kiss golden sands. It's a cultural paradise, no doubt, a small island with a giant reputation in music, sports, and tourism. In this video, we are going to look at how 10 different countries depend on Jamaica's resources, products, and cultural exports. With fewer than 3 million people, this Caribbean island somehow fuels billion-dollar industries around the world. From alumina powering aerospace to rum and spices enriching kitchens in Europe, Jamaica's reach is astonishing. We'll break down the numbers, the partnerships, and the lifelines that tie nations big and small to Jamaica's red soil and vibrant culture. This isn't just trade, it's global dependence. But here's the twist very few ever think about. Jamaica is more than vibes and vacation. Beneath the rhythm of its drums and the sway of its palm trees lies an economic story that is quietly shaping industries around the world. With fewer than 3 million people, Jamaica is far from the biggest player on the global stage, yet its exports, trade agreements, and regional influence tie into economies far larger than its own. If you love discovering how smaller nations punch above their weight in the global economy, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let's start with the obvious heavyweight, one of the most powerful countries in the world that leans on Jamaica more than you'd ever expect. Number 1. United States, the heavyweight partner. It might sound strange to say that the United States, the richest, most industrialized nation on Earth, depends on Jamaica. After all, America has enormous natural resources and one of the most diverse economies in history. But when it comes to certain supply chains, Jamaica is stitched so tightly into America's fabric that removing it would leave gaping holes. Let's talk numbers. In 2023, Jamaica exported roughly US $1.01 billion worth of goods to the United States. That accounted for half of all Jamaican exports. The cargo ships leaving Kingston's port weren't just carrying tourist souvenirs, they were loaded with alumina, the refined product of Jamaica's bauxite, which is absolutely essential for producing aluminum. Think about that for a moment. Every plane flying out of JFK or Los Angeles, every soda can cracked open in New York, every aluminum window frame installed in Chicago, there's a good chance Jamaican alumina played a role in it. But it's not just heavy industry. Walk into any Whole Foods or Walmart and you'll find Jamaican products on the shelves. Blue Mountain Coffee, one of the most expensive and sought-after coffees in the world, Appleton Rum, a Friday night favorite, spices and sauces that bring Caribbean flavor to American kitchens. These aren't luxuries for Jamaican exporters, they are lifelines. Now let's flip it around. The US is also Jamaica's biggest supplier, providing 41% of Jamaica's imports. From cars to heavy machinery, groceries to electronics, nearly half of what Jamaicans consume comes from America. All of this is backed by the Caribbean Basin Initiative, which gives Jamaica duty-free access to US markets. Without that, Jamaican exporters would face tariffs so high many of their industries would collapse. And without Jamaica's alumina and specialty goods, American industries, especially construction and aerospace, would have to scramble for alternatives. So next time you sip coffee in New York or fly cross-country in a plane made with lightweight aluminum, remember, part of that experience started in the red soil of Jamaica. Number 2. Russia, alumina and more. Now, let's take a sharp detour from the Caribbean to Russia. At first glance, Jamaica and Russia seem worlds apart. Different languages, different cultures, different histories. Yet, trade connects them in ways most people never consider. In 2023, Russia imported about US $138 million worth of Jamaican goods. And once again, alumina was at the center of it all. Russia's industrial economy depends heavily on aluminum for aircraft, military vehicles, construction materials, and even household products. Jamaican alumina is one of the building blocks that helps keep those industries alive. But it's not only minerals crossing the oceans. Jamaica's cultural exports, rum and coffee, are also finding their way to Moscow supermarkets and Russian cafes. Imagine sipping Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee in a snow-covered cafe in St. Petersburg, or raising a glass of Jamaican rum in a Moscow bar. It's globalization in its most unexpected form. Take alumina out of that equation and Russian factories would face bottlenecks, scrambling to secure new suppliers at higher prices. That's how critical Jamaica is, even for a country as vast as Russia. Number 3. Latvia, a surprising ally. Here's where things get really surprising. Latvia, a small Baltic country with fewer than 2 million people, yet quietly one of Jamaica's most important customers. In 2023, Latvia imported US $131 million worth of Jamaican goods, accounting for around 6.5% of Jamaica's total exports. Once again, alumina was the star of the show. Latvia's processing and manufacturing industries rely on this mineral to fuel their metal sector. The contrast is fascinating. On one side, a sun-drenched Caribbean island with a tropical climate. On the other, a cold northern European country known for its forests and long winters. Yet they're tied together by trade in red bauxite soil refined into alumina. So the next time Latvia's factories produce materials for Europe, know that part of their story began thousands of miles away in Jamaica's mines. Number 4. Iceland, the niche partner. If Latvia surprised you, wait until you hear about Iceland. Population? Just 380,000. But its aluminum industry is massive, one of the largest per capita in the world. Iceland uses its abundant geothermal energy to power aluminum smelters, making it an unlikely but important global player in this industry. Here's the catch: smelters don't work without alumina. And in 2023, Iceland imported nearly US $94 million worth of Jamaican goods, almost all alumina, that made up nearly 5% of Jamaica's exports. It's almost poetic. On one end, volcanic Iceland blanketed in ice, running futuristic smelters fueled by renewable energy. On the other, tropical Jamaica, providing the raw material dug from its earth. Two landscapes that couldn't be more different, yet one depends on the other for economic survival. Without Jamaica, Iceland's aluminum industry, one of the country's biggest revenue generators, would stumble. That's how tightly the two nations are tied together. Number 5. United Kingdom, old ties, new trade. Now let's cross over to the United Kingdom, where the relationship is as much about history as it is about economics. Colonization, migration, and culture created deep ties between the UK and Jamaica. But those ties didn't end with independence. They evolved into strong trade connections. By 2025, UK-Jamaica trade stood at roughly £497 million, or about US $620 million. Jamaica exported around £310 million worth of goods to Britain: rum, sugar, coffee, jerk spices, and cultural products that carry not just economic value but emotional weight for the Jamaican diaspora. For Jamaicans living in London, Birmingham, or Manchester, walking into a shop and finding Jamaican products is more than convenience. It's identity, heritage, and home. For the UK, it's a way to diversify supply chains and maintain strong trade ties with the Caribbean. Without Jamaica, the UK would lose not only a trusted trade partner but also a cultural bridge that has enriched British society for generations. Number 6. Netherlands, alumina and bauxite flows. The Netherlands may be famous for windmills, tulips, and canals, but let's not forget it's also home to one of the busiest ports in the world, Rotterdam. And what flows into Rotterdam? Shipments of Jamaican alumina and bauxite. In 2023, the Netherlands imported nearly US $58 million worth of Jamaican goods. Much of it went straight into Dutch and European manufacturing, construction materials, car parts, and industrial products. Without Jamaican minerals feeding through Rotterdam, Europe's production lines would feel the pressure. So while Jamaica is often pictured as a land of reggae and beaches, in Dutch warehouses and factories, it's alumina and bauxite that carry weight. Number 7. Canada, historical trade partner. If there's one trade partner that feels like family, it's Canada. Thanks to the Caribbean Agreement, Jamaica enjoys duty-free access to Canadian markets. In 2023, Jamaica exported about US $46 million worth of goods to Canada, including rum, coffee, and alumina. But beyond the trade numbers lies a human connection. Hundreds of thousands of Jamaicans live in Canada, particularly in Toronto. For them, Jamaican products on store shelves are more than imports. They're a link to their heritage. And for Canada, the imports strengthen cultural diversity while diversifying supply chains. It's a relationship built on both economics and shared community. Number 8. Guyana, a CARICOM brother. Now let's head closer to home. Guyana and Jamaica, both CARICOM members, are like siblings in a regional family. In 2023, Guyana imported US $52 million worth of Jamaican goods. The trade included processed foods, beverages, and manufactured products, while Jamaica benefited from Guyana's rice and sugar. This isn't just trade, it's survival. Without Jamaica, Guyana would face shortages in everyday items. Without Guyana, Jamaica would lack key staples. The Caribbean single market and economy makes sure this back and forth continues to strengthen both nations. Number 9. Cayman Islands, a neighborly link. Just a short hop from Kingston are the Cayman Islands, one of Jamaica's closest trade partners. In 2023, Cayman imported about US $36 million worth of Jamaican goods. For Cayman, Jamaica is a lifeline. Supermarkets stock Jamaican food and drinks, businesses rely on Jamaican supplies, and the cultural bond runs deep. Many Jamaicans also live and work in Cayman, sending remittances home. Without Jamaica, Cayman's day-to-day economy would be noticeably weaker. Number 10. Trinidad and Tobago, regional dependence. Finally, let's talk about Trinidad and Tobago, the Caribbean's energy powerhouse. Even this strong economy relies on Jamaica. In 2023, Trinidad imported about US $35 million worth of Jamaican goods, including processed foods and beverages. Both countries operate under CARICOM, meaning their economic futures are tightly woven together. It's proof that even the most resource-rich neighbors benefit from Jamaica's exports. Let's look at the bigger picture. In 2023 alone, United States, US $1.01 billion. Russia, US $138 million. Latvia, US $131 million. Iceland, US $94 million. United Kingdom, US $68 million. Netherlands, US $58 million. Guyana, US $52 million. Canada, US $46 million. Cayman Islands, US $36 million. Trinidad and Tobago, US $35 million. From North America to Europe, from the Caribbean to Eurasia, Jamaica's influence stretches across the globe. For a nation of fewer than 3 million people, that's remarkable. Jamaica's story is proof that influence isn't measured by size, but by reach. From alumina-shaping aircraft in America to coffee-warming cups in Europe, this island leaves fingerprints across global supply chains. 10 countries, from superpowers to tiny neighbors, rely on Jamaica in ways most of us never imagined. It's not just about trade, it's about survival, culture, and identity. The next time you sip Jamaican coffee, board a flight, or taste jerk seasoning, remember the island behind it. If you found this eye-opening, hit the like button, share this video, and don't forget to subscribe for more global deep dives.